I'm quite a fan of Gulliver's Travels. I think Jonathan Swift has a nice writing style, the story is interesting, I'll always watch an adaptation. And on top of that, I'm a very, very, very big fan of Fleischer Studios. I've seen maybe hundreds of Fleischer cartoons, absolutely adore them for the most part. This isn't great. By no means is it the worst film I've seen, but it's not a good film. This was released in 1939. It's directed by Dave Fleischer and a whole bunch of animation directors, with a screenplay by Dan Gordon, Cal Howard, Ted Pierce, Izzy Barber, and Edmund Seward. Based, of course, on Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, with a voice cast including Sam Parker, Pinto Colvig, Jack Mercer, Lanny Ross, Ted Pierce, Lovey Warren, Jessica Dragonette, Joe Oriolo, Margie Hines, and Carl Meyer. Fantastic voice cast there, some really amazing names, and I have no issues with the quality of the voice acting. The animation itself is okay, but the narrative is so poorly handled. And the pacing is horrendous. If you're unaware of what it's about a traveller called Gulliver, needless to say, and the book has several stories in it, and the first story, the primary story, the one that most adaptations focus on, involves Gulliver arriving at this place called Lilliput. The people there are teeny, teeny, tiny, and they capture him, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really great story. None of that comes across here. It is so, so dull. It took such a long time for them to actually find Gulliver. And even once they did find him, it wasn't that interesting. So it was really not engaging up to that point. It took a very long time to get there. And even after that, it was still tremendously slow. And I don't even think it would be that engaging for children. Maybe very, very, very young children who are delighted just by the movements of the animation. They're not old enough to really understand or follow the story. Maybe the animation could be engaging. But for a child of an age where they can start to pay attention to the narrative, they have a level of comprehension, I really don't think it would be that engaging for young children. So the only good thing I can think of in terms of the story is that it is introducing young viewers to Jonathan Swift's work. And I'll be honest, I don't think at that age, at a youngish age, certainly preteen, I don't know if I'd ever heard of Gulliver's Travel. I'm trying to think, actually, is there a Disney version? Yes, there is. There is a growlier book called Gulliver Mickey. There's also a cartoon called Gulliver Mickey, but I wouldn't have seen that. I will probably almost definitely have had that book, but I absolutely would not have known that it was based on a story by Jonathan Swift. So I like the fact that at the very least the film is potentially introducing young viewers to the work of Jonathan Swift. The more they are aware of it, the more they may pay attention to it later on in life. So I give it credit for doing that. The animation itself is fine though, gorgeous style, really nice colour palette, the usual quality we can get from Fleischer. And the characters are adorable, great voice acting, lovely music. But the story is just horrendous. It's not a good adaptation at all. So I don't really know if I recommend it. Maybe for very, very young children, maybe helping introduce the story to young children, but in general, as a narrative, it's not very well executed at all.